this video is another one on the Alfa Giulia. I'm replacing the front brake discs and pads. It's not a how-to. I just record this as I'm going along, and sometimes the process gets held up by stuck bolts or things not coming off, and it kind of disrupts the process of doing a how-to. So this isn't a how-to, and I've had to jump around from side to side because some of the footage wasn't so good on the original side, so I've filmed bits of it on the other side and spliced it in. I think it still works. I think it's still useful. Maybe. I've also replaced the rear discs and pads, which I've recorded, so I'll be putting that out shortly as well. Thank you. This probably isn't necessary when you're only doing the front brakes, but I can't see any harm at all. So I'm going to go into the brake service mode. So down to settings. Oh, there it was, driver assistance. Across to brake service, select. Do you want to release parking brakes to service the brake system? Yes. Come on, Alpha. Brake service settings not saved. Please try again. Come on, this time. Service brake. Yes. Initializing brake service. Okay, so that's ready, and then it's just saying to reset to normal, press brake pedal and activate park brake switch. So do that at the end of the work. We now need to remove the cap from the brake fluid reservoir. It's located under this panel here on the scuttle. The cap pops off, and then the lid is in there. We're going to take it out. Obviously be careful not to drip paint on the paint. So the fluid was changed at the last service, which was a couple of months ago. So that's all good. So these are the pads that I've got. I'm hoping they're correct. Nice. New pins, new springs. They look like they are the right ones. Yeah, it looks actually like an interference fit, so yeah, interesting. Disconnect the brake pad wear sensor. Pins out. No. Down. just removed the lower pin. I now need to remove these two Torx bolts. They are a T55. Right, undo this Allen key. The caliper has solid hydraulic lines going to it, so there's no flexing, no rubber, so you can't just take the caliper off and support it. It's on these solid lines, so you really need to be careful not to move it around too much. Before I stopped the video, when it came to removing the disc, because I could not get the disc off, the disc was seriously corroded onto the hub. You know, I've come across this in the past with different cars, but this was the worst. I've had to pound it, heat it, leave it with oil soaking. I stopped and went on the school run, leave it for an hour or so to soak in and penetrate. And I've just come back and sort of levered it and really hit it. So that's something to consider. It's been the hardest bit so far. Right. Disc off. It wasn't this part. I mean, this has got some slight corrosion, but it's the side bit where it's all puffed out. It was sort of virtually crimped the disc onto the hub. I think these are possibly original discs. The back side is actually quite scored. The surface has been braking well. There's no, the surface isn't irregular, but yeah. Right. Oh, I've already been in. Right, that's a bit of a clean up. Just going to spin the stone guard screws out. I know these have got a little bit of sort of Loctite on them so they don't come undone, but I've had them where they snap off quite often, so I'm going to put a small bit of copper slip on. Can't see it'll do any harm. Still got the Loctite stuff on it anyway, the thread lock. Definitely putting copper slip on. spring in. Right, so I'd previously put the springs in. I've now put the pins in. Okay, so it turns out I put the brake pads with the wear sensor in the wrong side. They're sided. So when I put it in initially, the cable was coming out the bottom. I thought, that's really weird. That can't be right. Then removing it, I realised there's an arrow which points in the direction that the disc would turn when the car is going forwards. So I had to swap these over. It's in the instructions, but I didn't think I needed instructions for brake pads, but never told to learn. So yeah, so now it makes much more sense. The cable comes out at the correct place and it's all clear of the disc and it's secure, and yeah, much better. So yeah, so that's my tip. My tip is make sure that you put the arrows in the direction that the wheels will be rotating with the vehicle going forwards. I've cleaned up the caliper where the pads slide up and down, so they're all nice and clean, free of grease. And I have greased the sliders themselves, so now I put the pads in. Take the slider, just push the slider in a bit. On the top and on the bottom. Put a small dab of lubricant on the sliding parts. This is that. Bolt the caliper back down. Some copper slip on the hub face or the disc face. So obviously you don't want to put too much on that there's any risk that it will come out under a centrifugal force and contaminate the discs or pads. But you don't want it being stuck on like it was before. Push brake pedal, the car isn't moving. Excellent, brilliant, good stuff. So it's the next day. I've done quite a bit of driving already today. Just having a look, the disc looks nice. And the caliper's looking good. The wheel is really dirty, but yeah, I'm pleased with that.